This video is about driving and accident risk for both teens and seniors. In this series, we are exploring what happens to the eye and vision as we age. In earlier videos, we looked at vision changes with age and structural changes in the various parts of the eye. In the last video, we looked at how changes in vision and higher level processing affect driving and may make us more susceptible to auto accidents. In this video, we will continue that theme, concentrating on crash statistics and what they tell us about crash risks for both teens and seniors. We will present data from several reports on age and driving safety from the National Highway Transportation and Safety Administration, the CDC, and the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Now, the issue of age and driving safety is not confined to seniors. It is just as big an issue for teenagers. Let us start by looking at drivers killed and injured in auto crashes, sorted by age group. Note that the first two categories in light and medium blue are crash rates per number of drivers, versus the third category in darker blue, crash rate per number of miles driven. This is how crash rates occur in different age groups. The bars look pretty high at the ends among young drivers and senior drivers. Let's look closer. Starting with crash rates per mile driven, for teens the crash rate is high, about 6 times that of a 50-year-old. Then crash rates decline and remain generally low until about age 70, when they start to rise again. But seniors don't catch up to the teen crash rate until age 80. Another way of looking at crashes is in terms of accidents per driver. This time the teen rate is higher than any other age group. Even in the oldest seniors the rate is not that high, because seniors make adaptations. They drive less miles and are less likely to drive at night or in poor driving conditions. In a minute we will look at teen and senior drivers separately. In passing, let us note accidents which involve pedestrian fatality. Note the age trend and difference between male and female drivers. One key tool for analyzing accidents is something called crash involvement ratio, which is the ratio of at fault versus not at fault counted by age group. In a particular age group, a ratio of 1 means that half of the accidents were the fault of the driver in this age group, and the other half were the fault of the other driver, so 50-50. A ratio greater than 1 means that more than half of the accidents were the fault of the driver in this age group. A ratio of less than 1 means that less than half of the accidents were the fault of the driver in this age group. Here is how CIR plays out over age groups for 2 vehicle crashes with a fatality. If a teen is involved, he or she is more likely to be the cause of the accident, twice as likely as the other driver. In the middle decades, drivers gain experience and maturity, so they are less likely to be the cause of an accident through age 69. After age 70, drivers again have more difficulty, which increases significantly at age 80 and above. With that in mind, let's look at the younger age group first. When we were looking at crash rate per driver, we saw that clearly teens are involved in a much higher proportion of crashes than other age groups. In fact, and unfortunately, the leading cause of death for teens aged 15 to 19 is motor vehicle crashes. Because of those grim statistics, teen driving and risk behavior is an ongoing subject of study and attempts to improve teen driver safety. Analysis of crash reporting shows there are particular behaviors that put teens at risk. With a new driver's license comes a lot of things to learn. On one hand, there is the challenge of learning how to manage your own vehicle, and on the other hand, there is the equally great challenge of interacting with other drivers on the road. And if that wasn't enough of a challenge, teens add to the degree of difficulty in several ways. 1. They drive fast. This is average speed versus driver age, which connects to the result, speed and fatal crashes, related to driver age. 2. Teens also leave less space or headway between cars. Distractions. Distractions while driving are huge. They come in several types. Having teenage friends in the car increases the risk of a crash, which increases further with each additional teen passenger. Then there is cell phone use, texting, eating, and changing music or CDs. We hear about things. How bad are they actually? A pretty concrete answer comes in a study published in the January 2014 issue of the New England Journal of Medicine. They looked at crash rates during different distracting activities: texting, cell phone use, reaching for objects inside the car, and eating and drinking. They also compared risk between novice and experienced drivers. Here are the results. I'm going to mention the highlights, but you can pause and read it in detail if you want. Texting increases the risk of a crash by almost 4 times. Just reaching for an object can increase crash rate by 8 times. Adjusting music or AC controls within the car all increase crash rates. Eating and drinking are distractions. Also, note the difference between novice drivers and experienced drivers. As an additional risk items, teens wear their seatbelts less than any other driving group. And last but not least, drinking and driving. Of teens involved in fatal crashes, 20% had some alcohol in their blood. Of those, 81% were above the legal limit of 0.8%. Looking at the rate of teen crashes over time, first note the blue line representing male drivers versus the gray line, women drivers. At least it is heartening that males are improving and the number of crashes is decreasing over time. Now, switching to the other end of the age spectrum, seniors. Looking at accidents per mile driven, the crash rate begins to climb after age 70, but only exceeding teens after age 80. One significant point here. For seniors, the fatality rate looks high, in part because they are more fragile, that is, less likely to survive a crash than a younger person. Now, in terms of accident rate per driver, that does not go up so much for seniors. Why? Because seniors make adaptations. Seniors don't drive as fast, so there are less speed-related crashes. Seniors leave more following space or headway between cars. Seniors make less driving trips at night. In general, they avoid riskier driving situations. Recognizing those adaptations, crash statistics show that there are certain situations where seniors clearly have more difficulty. This NHTSA paper summarizes the kinds of crashes seniors are most likely to be involved in. Numbers 1 and 2 involve left turns made through oncoming traffic. Numbers 3 and 4 involve merging into moving traffic. Number 5 involves changing lanes. The underlying problems are that senior drivers have several problems with processing information, including more difficulty judging the speed and direction of oncoming traffic. Let us explore the crash types in more detail. The first risk situation is crashes at intersections. This shows crash involvement ratio at different kinds of intersections by age. The yellow line represents average crash ratio at all intersections. In this case, drivers up to age 70 are doing well. Past age 70, things change. At regular stoplights, seniors, the orange line, have a little more trouble than other age groups. At stop signs, significantly more trouble. And at yield signs, a lot more trouble. Literally off the chart. Now, crash rates for vehicles in motion. Again, using crash involvement ratio by age category, teenagers and seniors are the higher risk age groups. The line for going straight is in yellow, which seems like a good benchmark and is more accident prone than one might guess. Focusing on senior drivers, the highest risk occurs when turning left and when starting in a lane of moving traffic. Though, recognize that teens are hardly doing much better. Making a left turn through traffic requires the ability to accurately judge speed and spacing of oncoming cars. Likewise, matching speed when merging into moving traffic. We saw in the last video that ability to judge speed and direction decreases with age. On the plus side, rates of senior crashes are declining in the last few years, and new technology may help improve that in the future. As we have seen, high-risk drivers inhabit both ends of the age spectrum, but middle-aged drivers also do risky things. The hazard of drinking and driving is huge. Teens have their particular set of risk behaviors. Seniors have their set of risky driving situations. In this short video, we've only been able to introduce the topic of driving and crashes. There is a lot more information available on these websites, including programs to improve teen driving safety and development of improved safety devices.